All right, so I'm beginning the process of making the second batch, and this one I'm gonna culture for 24 hours. I've already added my whole milk. I already added my inulin, and a portion, about maybe 2 teaspoons in each bowl of the prior yogurt culture. So I'm gonna mix in the milk here real good. Now you're supposed to sanitize your container, sanitize your spoon. Make sure there isn't any other outside bacteria because it's going to compete with the probiotic bacteria. If that is the case, and it may not come out right. So you want to make sure it's properly sanitized. And to be honest, I did not properly sanitize these, but I hope it's going to come out properly. Hopefully the containers are already clean. Mix these real well. So I'm mixing the old yogurt with milk and some inulin. Notice you'll see some of these little tiny clumps from the yogurt from the prior batch, and you want to try to smooth these out as much as possible. If you scrape along the bottom, you'll feel some of the inulin kind of stuck on the bottom. You want to make sure that you kind of mix all that into the milk. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to give the bacteria as much food to eat, evenly distributed. We are working in the universe of bacteria, so you want to try to make sure that no other outside bacteria is introduced into this culture, because you want the probiotic bacteria to flourish and eat all the inulin and the milk, all the fat in the milk, create good protein, multiply, that way you can consume more of this good bacteria into your system. All right. So avoid contamination by not touching the inside of the container, not touching the milk with your fingers. Make sure your fingers are clean, and sanitizing properly, and not sneezing on it, not breathing on your milk, because that increases the risk of outside bacteria going into the milk culture and competing with the probiotic bacteria. So we're going to put a lid on these, and make sure your lids are also sanitized. Don't touch the inside of the lid with your fingers. I'm going to place the milk into the yogurt maker. There's water inside there already. Should be clean, but it doesn't necessarily have to be sanitized because they're not going to touch the inside of the milk culture. But they should be clean, of course. Now you want the milk to sort of go as high, you want the water level to be almost to the lid level. Okay, and then you're going to set your temperature. I'm going to set the temperature to 105. They say you could go as high as 110, but I'm going to just go 105 because it's usually good from 100 to 110. And then I'm going to set this for 24 hours. All right, and then we put a lid on it, and then we just wait 24 hours. Here's the old batch that I put into a bowl. The consistency is kind of like watery, thick milk or cottage cheese. If you put this in the fridge, it will become firmer. As long as they're outside the fridge, it'll continue to ferment. Or culture, I guess you could say. As soon as you put them in the fridge, they'll stop culturing. Now, if you leave these outside like this, you also risk getting them contaminated because there's bacteria flying around in the air, and you risk bacteria going into the milk. And that's why you want to put these in the refrigerator. You could just eat these right here. I could just eat these right now. They taste fine. Slightly sour. You could also add milk to them if you don't like any sourness at all. And then it just tastes like thick, runny milk.